Welcome to Hotline TV, everyone. I'm Amy Walter.
And I'm John Mercurio. All right, just a couple more days until the June 9th Democratic primary.
And by days, you mean weeks, but yes.
Well, couple days or weeks.
Or day.
Till June 9th. Anyway,
Okay.
They knew what I meant. They knew what I meant. June 9th, Democratic primary in the race for governor in Virginia. No race on the Republican side. Lots of television ads sprouting up on television, not necessarily in the expensive D.C. media market, but elsewhere. In Virginia, we've been told that there is another part of the state.
There is.
Outside
Apparently,
of
you
the
go
Beltway.
down 95.
95.
You go past, like where those outlets are.
Tyson's Corner, yeah.
The outlets, and then the Occoquan or something,
The Occoquan,
and then you get into
the
these
Woodbridge,
things. Yes.
stuff like that. Anyway, around the state, television ads running for the three, there's three Democratic candidates, the one Republican candidate. We're talking to our man, Evan McMorris-Santoro, who is in our Roanoke bureau.
Hello.
This afternoon, whatever time you happen to be watching
We make this quick
show.
though, because I have some shad cooking out back.
You got some
on
shad
planks.
to plank? All right, well, we'll get right to it. Let's look at a couple of these ads. We'll start, first of all, with an ad that's being run by former state delegate Brian Moran against Terry McAuliffe. Let's take a look.
McAuliffe has made a fortune investing, sometimes in companies that went bust, laid off thousands, and drained employee savings. Barack Obama ran against exactly the kind of big money politics that McAuliffe represents. Brian Moran worked with Mark Warner and Tim Kaine, fighting for Virginia's families and seniors.
All right, Evan, so Brian Moran deciding that he is going to take off the gloves.
Oof,
Is this
what does
enough?
that mean?
I don't know. I've never understood that. Does it mean like hitting you straight on?
Yeah,
and is
no
that
gloves,
bad?
no cushion.
Or, yeah, but that's what seemed to hurt your hand more. Anyway, Evan.
Depends on the kind of gloves that you use. honestly.
Exactly. All right.
Very good
So,
point.
Evan, is this enough? Is this going to damage him? And why go up now? Why not go up with something tougher?
Well, I think there's two things here. One, he's got no money, so he's going up now. I think this is what he can do. And the negative message has been his message right along through the whole campaign so far. And this ad sort of covers a lot of that ground, talks about McAuliffe's record and how it doesn't cover what he thinks, what he's saying now on the trail. It's not really even his hardest ad. His hardest ad was Save for Radio, which was the one about Hillary Clinton's 3 a.m. ad, where he actually said to Terry, he said to the quote-unquote urban radio audience that if Terry McAuliffe had his way, Barack Obama wouldn't be president. So that's a little bit harder. This is kind of more what we hear from him on the trail all the time, where he'll talk a little bit about what he thinks and about his plans as this fighter, and then also say McAuliffe is kind of exaggerating his record and has no experience and no ability to govern based on what he's done in the past.
Interesting. I agree with you. I think that radio ad was much harder hitting. Although McAuliffe told us in the interview with the Hotline that he doesn't think people care about that. People have moved on from 2008. But let's look at McAuliffe's ad. He had not necessarily a response ad, but an ad sort of telling people to stop all the attacks and focus on solving problems. Let's look at McAuliffe's ad.
I was with Terry when jobs were on the line, and he was not going to give up.
He kept the promises that he made. He took care of us.
False attacks won't create jobs. My plan invests in education, renewable energy, and high-speed rail to get our economy moving.
Now, Evan, we know. I'm going
to. Please.
Now, Evan, we know that it's likely McAuliffe had this sitting in the can. He knew he was going to be attacked at some point. It means that he'd cut this ad earlier, literally in a can.
Did he have?
Do you wear gloves in the can?
Maybe.
Okay.
But is this what you think he was expecting to get? The kind of attack he was expecting to get, and what do you think of the response?
Well, definitely, I think this is the kind of thing he's been gearing up for. I mean, if you look at some of the stuff he's had ready to go, it's when this whole thing happened with the 3 a.m. ad we talked about earlier, he brought Daschle out really quick to talk about get that support from the Obama people. This is the kind of place where he's happy to talk. But if you look at his response that he makes in this ad that came out in response to this Moran ad, it's what he's been saying on the trail too. So he sort of says quickly, these are negative hits. People don't care about this stuff. I want to talk about jobs. I want to talk about how I'm going to help you and what's important in the state right now, that these sort of attacks are meaningless and don't have any sort of bearing. And in fact, he uses in the beginning of the ad, he hits that experience as hard as he can, that experience argument with the two people who used to work at that bank that he ran, saying that he helped them out. And one of them being an African-American woman who he says, he helped us, he rescued us.
Yeah, interesting.
So I think, I do think it's a good hit, and it's sort of indicative of what he's been doing this whole time.
I love the subliminal part about him standing when he's talking directly to camera, and there's this huge line of traffic right behind him on some street in Alexandria. subliminal, I can help solve the traffic woes of Northern Virginia. Anyway.
Well, and I think this goes back to, this is going to tie to our final ad, which is Bob McDonnell's ad we're going to take a look at. But I think it comes, to me, the bottom line here is, if Terry McAuliffe is the nominee, he's certainly the front runner right now, it doesn't seem as if Democrats have laid much of a glove on him, and I don't know if that response ad that he put forward here is going to be enough against Bob McDonnell. But let's look at this McDonnell ad, because here it's a warm and fuzzy and very dad-oriented.
Very paternalistic. Right in time for Father's Day.
Oh, it's perfect. Here's the ad.
My children inspired my bipartisan work as Attorney General to protect kids from sexual predators on the internet.
Want to grab some food? Come on, Rach. Coming. Later, Dad.
My 21 years in the Army was followed by my daughter's service in Iraq.
Going to meet some friends. Bye.
Bye. And I thought I was busy running for governor.
Honey, we love you. Yeah.
It's like a clown car. They just keep coming out. They just keep coming out of the house. All right, Evan, what's your takeaway on this ad?
Well, this ad, I think that one thing about Bob McDonnell is you're talking about a race where none of the candidates have very high name recognition, but Bob McDonnell, I think, is afraid of being hit sort of with this sort of evil conservative. They've been talking about the other ads against him that the Democratic Governors Association are running are sort of like he doesn't want you to have unemployment benefits, and then later in the hopper we know they have all the sort of anti-social issue stuff, they have the social issue stuff. This is like, I'm totally a regular guy. I'm one of you. I'm in your area. In fact, that house looks like it could be in Northern Virginia, right? So he's like this Northern Virginian dad. Kids are running off to soccer practice, and I guess the war in Iraq and all the places that people's kids go. I think he looks really personable in this ad. I think it's. I mean, I don't think I'm going to win any acting awards, but I think it's a compelling family story, and he's a compelling guy in that ad, which I think was what we've seen in a lot of his ads and a lot of his appearances. He's just a compelling guy.
Well, I mean, this is the great irony of this race, is that when all is said and done, the most money that's going to be spent on television will be for or against Bob McDonnell. And so he's going to come out of this thing with much higher name recognition than the Democrats who are in the primary. All right, we don't have any more time. I wish we did.
We don't have any more time, unfortunately. There's so many more ads.
I know.
And important one, I mentioned Craig Deeds' ad, too, just really briefly. He's doing a great job putting out his sort of bio ads as well, and he's seen some maybe some boost in the polls from that in the past couple weeks.
Interesting. All right. Well, we can't forget Craig Deeds, even though he doesn't want to come and meet with us at the hotline.
That's right.
But anyway, moving right along. Thanks so much, Evan McMorris Santoro. Drive safely back. I don't know how you get back from Roanoke, Virginia, but however it is you get back, please
high-speed rail.
High-speed rail, exactly.
High-speed rail.
Please do so safely, and thanks so much for watching Hotline TV. We'll see you next time.